Giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Rachakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and a sincere shalom to the icon that's out there pushing the sincerity and the truth and the sound doctrine. It's sort of a quick video. You see by the title. God, the one you people call God, the Lord Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI did not give us free will. Okay. Now, when I go into this topic, there's so many directions, you know what I'm saying? There's so many directions I can take this, you know. There's so many directions that you can go with this, okay? Now, here's the thing. When you look at this word commandment, there is a reason he never gave us free will, okay? He never gave us free will. When you look at this word commandment, okay, there's a reason why he gave us commandments. If he gave us free will from the jump, then we wouldn't even have commandments. Okay, we wouldn't have laws to keep everything in order. We wouldn't have none of that. If he just gave us free will, we just be able to just run around and do what we want to do. Okay, that even goes to today's society, right? You got to think about it. If God gave everybody free will, wouldn't it be your choice not to pay a water bill? Because the Lord is the one that set all this up. Okay, if you people understood, these are people that pick up the Bible and read it or claim to read it, and they talk about God will give them free will. Any true believer of the Most High wouldn't say anything like that. Okay, because they would be walking in a strict path that the Lord set up. Okay, now again, going into these commandments, and when I talk about these commandments, right, we understand that you absolutely cannot keep 613 of those laws. You can't do that, but this is why we're in a time of grace. Uh, so even though we can't exactly do it, you could do the very best of your ability because every little bit of that counts. Every little bit of that counts. Again, that's why I say we understand the law. The reason we say the law is not going to save you is because when you get to a time like Revelation 2:10, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be tribulation 10 days and stuff like that. Um in a jail cell, you're not going to be able to keep those laws. Okay. But right now, you know what I'm saying? This is why I say the law is not going to save you, but to a degree. Okay. Because you're not going to be believing in the Most High and you run around here eating pork and stuff like that, man. Purposely doing it. I mean, right? You purposely just going off and you're purposely being disobedient to the Lord, man. That's why I say uh to a degree, but ultimately no. When that's why I'm saying this, because when I go into these commandments, don't get bent out of shape, okay? But this all goes hand in hand to why the Lord did not give us free will, because then you can't sit up there and talk about you believing in the Lord and you just doing what you want to do because God gave me free will. You breaking every law of the Bible, committing adultery, eating what you want to eat, messing with what you want to mess with, and claim that you fearing God. Because he gave us free will. He never gave us no free will. Okay? So you look at this commandment word. An order from an authority. These are God's commandments. These are Yahweh's commandments, the Most High's commandments. Right? That is an authority. Okay? That's why he gave us commandments, because we don't have no free will. When you read the Bible, when the Lord told us to take a city, what did we do? We obeyed the voice of the Lord and we took a city. Okay? When the Lord told us to worship a certain day, you know what we did? We humbled down. You know what I'm saying? We obeyed the Lord, and what did we do? We worshiped that day that he told us to worship. We did everything that the Lord told us to do. And what happened? What happened when we didn't? See, those Israelites thinking that they had free will. What did the Lord do? He sent other nations to go and lead them into captivity. But then every time the Israelites humbled themselves down, right, and they cried to the Lord for mercy, cried to the Lord for forgiveness, for healing, and for rescuing, what did the Lord do? He always looked out, because that was him telling them, y'all don't got no free will. You do what I tell you to do, You know, you do it my way, or you hit the highway. It's my way or the highway. You make a choice. Okay? That's what he told us to do. Okay? Now we're gonna go on to Deuteronomy chapter 11 and verse 27. A blessing if ye obey the commandments of the Lord Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWASHI your God. This is why we tell you pray, right? We tell you pray and ask the Lord to lead you the right way. Because speaking from personal experiences, when your ways please the Lord, He makes your enemies be at peace with you. Right? When your ways please the Lord, He makes your most bitter nemesis be at peace with you. Okay? It says, if you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, it says, okay, so going on, it says, and a curse. So it said, well, number one, it said a blessing. And then now it says, and a curse, if you will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God. Okay? But turn aside, right, out of the way which I command you this day. Right, I got free will. It says to go after other gods which ye have not known. Right, I got free will, so I can do what I want to do. That's that spirit. So then what happens? A curse. And this is exactly why Israelites are under the curse that we in today. Because we all believe that we have free will. So what happened? We sinned against the Lord. That free will spirit is exactly what gets you messed up, man. That is not a good spirit. And a lot of Christians say that. Well, yeah, God gave us free will. Okay, well, why in the world are you considering yourself a Christian in the first place? If you claiming to be a God-fearing citizen, but He gave you free will, why are you claiming to fear God? You don't have to fear Him then, because He said that you could do what you want to do. So why are you even claiming to be a Christian? And you fear God because I chose to fear God. Man, let me tell you something, man. The scripture says you don't choose the Lord. The Lord chooses you. By you saying that you choose the Lord, you putting Him even on a lower level than you are. Because if you choose something, that means that whatever you chose is on a lower level than you are. Because you have the right to choose. Or on an equal level. You have the authority to choose the authority. That doesn't make any sense, man. Right? You Christians, man, y'all gotta really, really think before y'all speak. Because it's just like the things that y'all say just makes zero sense. We're going to stay in Deuteronomy for a second. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all His commandments which I command thee this day. When you command somebody to do something, you're not giving them a choice. It's either you do it or you face consequences. You're not giving them a choice to do anything. When you command somebody to do something, when your parents tell you to do something, do you sit up there and say, see, that's what I'm talking about. You don't even have free will around your parents. When your father or your mother tell you to do something, what do? You sit up there and you say, you don't go up there and say, I don't feel like it. You know what's going to happen? Well, punishment. Right? They don't give you the option to choose. When they tell you to do something, you do it. It's the same thing with this. It's a commandment. Your parent commanded you to do something. Your parent commanded you, go clean the bathroom. Go clean your room. You ain't going to sit up there and say, nah, I don't feel like I got my own free will. I got my own choice. You ain't going to say that. And if you do, you just a rebellious child. You're just a rebellious son or daughter. Which 98% of y'all are anyway. Right? Which makes sense why you talk about free will. because a lot of y'all grew up as rebellious as children, man. Okay? Anyway. Um, Yep, it says, which I command thee this. Let me start over. It says, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord, your power. Okay, it says, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations. Who is this talking about? It's always talking about the Israelites. Okay, this is why we're lower. Well, this is he made us to be a special people, right? But this is exactly why we're low. We're under all nations. See, he did the complete opposite. We didn't follow the law, statutes, commandments that he set out. So what did he do? Right? We went after other gods. You know what I'm saying? We didn't do a damn thing that the Lord told us to do. So what did he do? He said, instead of me placing you above on high above all nations, he put us under all nations. See? So he did the complete opposite, just like we did the complete opposite. Right? You see what happens when everybody says, I got free will? That's why you messed up. That's why you are how the way you are now, man. Run around here thinking you got free will. Let you not pay your gas electric bill. And sit up there and tell them, well, I got free will. I got my own mind. I'm my own God. I'm my own power. Let you not pay that, man. Because by you saying that, and by you even coming against, you know what I'm saying, you coming against what the Lord set up. Right? Verse 2. It says, and all these blessings shall come on thee, right? And overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, right? So now we're going to go on down to verse 15. Because what happened? Because we said we got free, because we said we had free will. We was being disobedient. We said, I'm gonna go my own way, Lord. Right? I'm gonna go my own way because I don't want to follow your way because you gave me free will. But you won't punish me anyway. I don't know. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15, it says, but but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. There you go. That's what happens when you sit up there and say, Lord, I got my own free will because you gave it to me. If we all had free will, we wouldn't be punished right now, man. You wouldn't have all these religions claiming to worship God. Why are you claiming to worship God? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that he's going to strike you down? You shouldn't worry about that because you chose to worship him because he gave you free will. But if you don't choose to, that's okay too. But for whatever reason you're afraid and you want to worship this God, but he gave you free will. So what are you afraid of? He's not going to strike you down. What are you afraid of? What are you worshiping him for? Salvation? What salvation? He gave us all free will. I mean, there's so many different ways. I mean, so many different ways we can ask. I can ask you. You know, it's just, it's crazy, right? So now we're gonna go on to Proverbs 20:4. Cause so now we're going into a different direction because when you look at spirits. So I just wanted that what I just went over was all just the basic. Now we're going to dive a little deeper, just a little bit. When you look at spirits, this whole free will thing. When you look at spirits, the Lord created spirits to do a certain job and to jump on certain people. You got shooters out there, like you just had another school shooter out, I think in Georgia, right? You got shooters out there. If they had it their way, you think they would be running around shooting people and stuff like that? When the Lord wants you to be somebody, he's going to have you be somebody, right? When he makes you to be a homo, you're going to be a homo. And you know a lot of these homos don't want to be that way. This is why they need a month, a pride month for people to acknowledge, right? For people to acknowledge them. You don't see a heterosexual month. because it's natural. But no, you need a Pride Month for people to recognize you. Hey, look at me. That's guilt. That's guilt. So, but because, and then that comes to show you that if they had it their way, they wouldn't even be that way. A lot of them don't want to be that way. But the Lord made you the way you are. There's why everything happens for a reason. You do what you do for a reason. Proverbs 16:4, we're going to get that too. Proverbs 16:4 says what? The Lord created the wicked even for the day of evil. So if you're meant to be a demon, you're meant to be a demon. If you're meant to be a prophet of the Lord, that's what you're going to be. You think you think when I was little, people asked me what you want to be. A prophet of the Lord was not even in my thoughts, man. Reading the Bible, doing these lessons, these videos, going out there on the highways and on the hedges was not even in my thought process, man. Right? Even though I started around 11, but when I was 6, or so, right? People would ask me, everybody, the average thing. But starting from the age of 10, 11, on up to today, you'd think I had that in my mind as hey, I want to be a prophet of the Lord. Who has that in their mind? What right? Who got that? Unless somebody has, in their family, you growing up like that, and you see your parents out there, or your brothers, or you see your brothers out there, right? And then you want to be that. That's the only way I can see that even happening. Other than that, come on, man. So the Lord made you who you are, how you are, and there's nothing you could do about that. There's nothing you could do about that. Right? Proverbs chapter 20:24. It says, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man understand his own way? Now we're going to get that in some other translations. Just in case, because some people out there are a little slower than others. Okay, it says same scripture, different translation. Okay. A person's steps are directed by the Lord. How then can anyone understand their own way? The Lord directs our steps. So why try to understand everything along the way? There you go. The Lord directs his steps. Okay. A man's steps are from the Lord. How then how then can man understand his way? Okay, so they all pretty much say the same thing. Now we want to get Proverbs 16. Okay, we will get Proverbs 16 and about 4. Yep, 16 and 4. Right? So here we go. The Lord has made everything for his own purposes, even the wicked for a day of disaster. We'll just kind of scroll it through here. I mean, you can see for yourself here, right? KJV, the Lord made all things for himself, yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. The Lord made all things for himself, yes, even the wicked for the day of doom. Okay. The Lord has made everything for its own purpose. Oh, there you go. The Lord has made everything for its own purpose, even the wicked for the day of evil. Now, they messed up a little bit because, again, it said for its own purpose. Now, he made everything. It said, but for himself, and that's more on point. But it pretty much says the same thing, because if he made it, then it's for himself anyway, and it's for its own purpose, right? Yep. There we go. The Lord has made everything for its own purpose, even the wicked according to their role. There you go. For the day of evil. Right? There you go. Another scripture you could read on this is Colossians. Okay? So, the Lord didn't give anybody free will, man. Animals don't even have free will. Insects don't have free will because it's according to their role that he made. Okay? For in him all things were created. Things in heaven and on earth. I wonder why I didn't say hell. I wonder why the scripture never said hell. Right? Because there is no hell. Hell is here. Hell is on earth right now. Okay? It said things that are in heaven and on earth. You can't tell. The Lord had to have made hell. So how come it didn't say he made hell? Which he did. It's here, right? But what about the you know the you know the pit of fire and stuff like that? When the Lord told every time you look at the Bible and and the Lord talks about His creations, you will never see hell. You will always see heaven and earth. There's a reason for that. It said visible and invisible. Okay, it said all things visible and invisible. Things that you can see, things that you can't see, like air. You can't see air. Okay. It says whether thrones or powers or rulers or authorities, all things have been created through him and for him. This is Colossians 1 and 16. Okay. So that tells you right there that there is no hell. I mean, this scripture alone tells you that there is no pit of fire, hell, or whatever. You Christians, you hear that? And so there we go. This whole free will thing. The Lord said, He made all things for Himself. He made all things for Himself, according to their role that He wants them to fulfill. That's what it is, right? He created Esau to be a devil and to rule over all the nations here. He created the heathens to rule over us, right? He created wicked Jake to be wicked Jake. That's just what it is. Anyway, giving all praise, honor, glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI. That's all I got on this. Shalom.